Are you tired of AAA games and publishers milking you for season passes and DLC before a game even comes out? Tired of mediocre new entries in big franchises charging more because game development is more expensive now? Tired of games absolutely beating you over the head with whatever ideology is flavor of the month? You need to play Astro Bot. Team Asobi have released to me what has been a much anticipated sequel to the PlayStation 5 pack-in title Astro's Playroom, something I thought nowhere near enough people talk about or give praise to. And I am so delighted to tell you that they have absolutely smashed it out of the park and made the biggest love letter to video gaming since Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you long for the days when games were simple, basic and fun, wanting to put a smile on a player's face instead of making you grind away years of your life on progression charts and seasonal XP grinds, Astro Bot is going to send you back to what you always remembered gaming to be. Astro Bot is a very retro-inspired 3D platformer. So much so that if you dialed down the graphical fidelity, you could pass it off as anything from an N64/PS1 game all the way up to a Wii game. Online, the comparison has been made to the Super Mario Galaxy series, and personally I think it has a little bit of a different flavour to it, but that doesn't stop it from being a very accurate comparison. You'll be spending your time in Astro Bot doing everything your favourite classic 3D platformer offers, from jumping around obstacles, beating up bad guys, solving puzzles, and finding collectibles everywhere you can. If you've played 2020's Astro's Playroom that came pre-installed on your PS5, then you'll be on very familiar ground right from the get-go with Astro Bot. This is a very good thing considering that everything Astro's Playroom did was fantastic. If you've never played it and you're on the fence about whether to buy Astro Bot, it'll make the perfect little 4 or so hour demo to test the waters. The thing that makes Astro Bot different from other 3D platformer classics is that this game is all about legacy and celebration of the history of PlayStation. Doesn't matter how old or new, how obscure or popular, or even if the game is exclusive to a Sony console. As long as it can be played on a Sony console and is beloved, then Team Asobi have made sure your favourite game or series feels special. As you play through the plethora of highly creative levels on offer, you'll be collecting not only coins but also little robo-dudes that Astro must reunite with from his crew after a big mean old alien ruined his day and suspiciously PS5-shaped spaceship. Roughly about half of these little robo-dudes are chibi robot versions of beloved characters such as Nathan Drake from Uncharted, or Ratchet from Ratchet & Clank. Every main level has a handful or two of little robots to find, as well as a few puzzle pieces that unlock extra features such as different skins for Astro himself and his little PS5 controller ship. All you gambling addicts will be glad to know that the capsule machine from Astro's Playroom is back in Astro Bot, and there's more to get in it than ever. You can get little extras for your PlayStation Robo Buddies that give you a cute little reference to the games and also provide the Robos a special interactable animation when you see them in the hub area. The story might seem fairly basic to some that are used to more modern games. I don't even recall there being a single line of dialogue, but personally, I don't believe that is a flaw here in Astro Bot's case. Team Asobi have opted into the old tried and true KISS strategy, which stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. Basically, if there was any higher amount of emphasis on the story, then I would have to critique it harder, and this is just meant to be a fun little collectathon 3D platformer for kids and incredibly nostalgic adults. Not every game needs to be ghostwritten by Shakespeare, so I'm glad they put almost zero emphasis on the story. All of the emphasis instead went into everything else, mostly level design and nostalgia baiting. The levels in Astro Bot are honestly incredible. The main levels are a very fun and satisfying size, lasting anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes depending on level and how determined you are to find all the secrets in it. These levels don't really offer much in the way of challenge, but for what they lack in difficulty, they more than make up for with raw fun. As you leave the hub level, you'll be flying your ship in a small space map, and the game's levels are broken into different galaxies, each with several little optional challenge levels that give the real gamers out there at least a little bit more to focus on, and I'll admit, some of them had me stuck for up to 20 minutes or so. At the end of each galaxy, you'll find yourself a big fun boss fight, followed up by a special level where you'll actually have special unique mechanics based on a beloved IP from Sony's history. I'm not going to spoil what these are at all, but if you've loved PlayStation throughout any of its eras, you are almost assuredly going to fall in love with the amount of passion the developers have squeezed into every pore of these levels. Aside from the nostalgia fan service, quality level design and collectathon platforming, one other major thing Astro Bot offers is a very big emphasis on haptic feedback in the DualSense controller. If you've played Astro's Playroom, you know exactly what I mean already, but if not, then you truly have not felt anything like this until you play an Astro game. Every single surface you run on, every action you perform, everything you do has unique vibration and resistances in the DualSense controller that really makes you feel what you're playing. This is emphasized even further with almost every level having a little gameplay gimmick you'll trigger at some point, from extendable boxing gloves to a chicken that shoots you vertically to an air pack that inflates Astro like a balloon. The haptic feedback that Team Asobi have implemented into all these mechanics are worth their weight in gold, because all the sensory sensations I felt when playing this game made it feel like my brain was being massaged the entire time and made me never want to stop playing or feel like I needed a break. Remember when the Nintendo Switch was first shown off, and Nintendo showed all the cool things the Joy-Cons could simulate feeling like, and then no one ever went on to use those features at all? Seems like Team Asobi did a bit of a Thanos here and decided they'd do it themselves, and oh my lord, they have nailed it. While we're talking about the design of the game, I want to say that the soundtrack is absolutely wonderful and full of charm from start to finish. I love every track here. This game has one of the most fun soundtracks for a platformer I have ever played. When it comes to the visuals, they absolutely hit the nail on the head too. Everything about this game looks gorgeous, like literally everything. As I was playing through Astro Bot, the PS5 Pro was announced, and while it's had a fairly controversial reaction online, the one thought going through my head is that if more developers were like Team Asobi and made their games based on the PS5 hardware in the first place, and had a graphical style or fidelity level that looked this good and also never dropped a frame just like this game, no one would ever need a PS5 Pro. This game just runs that well that it's one of the prettiest games I've played and didn't have a single frame drop for my entire 15 hours of playtime. 15 hours to finish the game, beat all levels, get all collectibles, and nab myself my newest platinum trophy may not sound like a lot, but I myself am of the belief that I would much rather a 10 to 20 hour game full of quality and passion than a 50+ hour game full of padded content and bloated with mechanics and mediocrity. Astro Bot hits that exact amount of value where you feel fully satisfied with what it offers, and any more would be welcome but might go a bit long in the tooth for some. You can probably tell from the fact that I've had absolutely nothing negative to say about Astro Bot for the entire review, that it comes with a very strong recommendation from me. Anyone who grew up with a PlayStation 1 and every PlayStation system since, you are actually contractually obligated to play this game, not out of loyalty to Sony, but to bring happiness to the kid you inside of there that you've had to hide away for years. You can come out and be that kid again for this playthrough. For those that join PlayStation later in life, there's still so much love to find in here. You'll find passion and love to many characters and series from whichever generation you joined with. For people who have never really played PlayStation in any generation, there's still the strongest 3D platformer on offer here since Super Mario Galaxy, and I'm sure you'll at least find something to smile about within here. No matter what console you grew up with or what games you play now, there will be love for something you also love here in Astro Bot. This might be the first game that I've felt like truly understands the love I feel for the characters and worlds that I love, and loves them just as much in its own way. It's due to all these wonderful feelings that Astro Bot made me feel that I will be giving it a highly deserved score of 10 out of 10. I hope game companies are taking notes and studying what has made this game such a success and others like Concord and Star Wars Outlaws such failures, because we've finally proven that all the gaming audiences want is a fun game to play. Principal Skinner was right. It wasn't you that changed, growing older and cynical and no longer having fun with games. It was the industry all along. Astro Bot, without a shadow of a doubt, proves that. Also, fellow X-Bros, it's over. The Cross Bros have officially won. See you later, guys.